Councillor Adam Metcalfe requested a leave of absence for April and May. However, we do have a quorum. There are no members of the public here, so no public questions. Does any councillor wish to disclose an interest on any of our items today?
Graham, which is item 11.3 or something.
Yep. Do you want to fill a form out?
I do, yes.
Yep. Does any councillor wish to apply for a leave of absence for either May or June? Given that seating will be in full swing? No. There are no petitions or presentations. So the first item of business is to confirm the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 27th of March, detailed in attachment 7.1a. So moving straight on to the recommendation that by simple majority, pursuant to sections 5222 and 3.18 of the Local Government Act 1995, the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held 27th of March 2025 as presented in attachment 7.1a be confirmed as a true and correct record of proceedings. Now we're going to do things slightly differently. I'll say who wants to move it, and then whoever moves it state their name for the record. Who would like to move it?
Bev Ward.
Thank you. And a seconder?
Hudson, Councillor Hudson.
Okay, moved by Councillor Ward and seconded by Councillor Hudson. Put it to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Yes. So we've got, that's by my count, 4 of us, 5 of us, sorry. 5-0. Yes, we had a Asset and Works Committee meeting held on the 18th of March, details in attachment 8.1a. That was to elect a new chair for the meeting and go over the terms of reference. Recommendation 8, that by simple majority pursuant to sections 5.22 and 3.18 of the Local Government Act 1995, the minutes of the Asset and Works Committee meeting held on the 18th of March as presented in attachment 8.1a be received. Once again, who would like to move that?
Councillor Hudson.
A seconder?
Councillor Ward.
All those in favour?
Yes.
5-0, carried. Okay, out of all those committee meetings, there were no recommendations made. Now, item 10, announcements by the President without discussion. I must say I had a pretty busy month last month. I'll just quickly list off all the meetings that myself and the CEO and or deputy attended. 28th of March, which was the day after our last council meeting, we attended the Great Eastern Council Zone Conference. Whose theme was Survive or Thrive. It was an excellent day, well attended. I got quite a bit out of it. It emphasised a positive outlook for the wheat belt. Then not long after, CEO and myself attended the New Rock Council meeting. I think that was at Muckenbooten, where we chose the new logo for New Rock, and we also I think reviewed the economic development program, and one of the things that came out of that was a following economic development committee meeting in which we'd completed the study of a backup not off-grid, but backup microgrid for the towns of Beacon and Bencubben. And that will be discussed at some later stage, but it looks very promising. Had a Minivale Bush Fire Brigade AGM, and my comment on that one is it's good to see the younger crew taking over from the old guard, which is what we need to encourage a bit more of younger people stepping up to the plate. I also went to a Rural Water Council AGM meeting in Cunderton on the 7th of April. one of the items discussed there was the demarcation point of where Water Corp's assets finish and the customer's starts, because there was some discussion about the installation of backflow devices as one of the requirements and the annual requirement to have that thing tested, which is becoming a bit of a burden. So there was some clarification required on that, and it was felt that it was a bit of a buck pass from Water Corp to the consumer. Then on the 10th of April, we had the Wheatbelt Development Commission held their AGM in the council chambers here, and an outcome of that, some of the feedback we got by email, I was made aware of this report, which I think we should all review. It was done back in 2009 by the Department of Agriculture and Food, and they did it for several rural towns. Water management plan for the town of Dowerin, and this is quite a comprehensive report. It actually details all the work that they did. They did seismic lines, they drilled several test holes, they did pump off surveys, they did some geotech surveys. So Manisha's now aware of that. I think that might have got lost in the changeover of management over the interim. We also just like to thank the CRC for organising the outdoor cinema event, which was a huge success. That was on the 11th of April. The bunch of kids there and young families. It was chicken run, and I myself thoroughly enjoyed that. Then we had a local emergency management committee meeting on the 14th of the 4th, where we ratified our LEMA document, local emergency management. What's the A stand for? Action plan. We had the audit arrangements. Then we had the audit entrance meeting on the 16th of April. We had the Anzac service and breakfast on the 25th, which went down really well. And I also came across in my readings during the month this document put out by AgriFutures, National Rural Issues. It was actually contracted out to KPMG, November 2023, but it talks about manufacturing agriculture's future, and there's quite a few interesting recommendations in that, and I don't know if we can forward that email and the report to all councillors. It will stimulate some ideas how we can actually invigorate Dowerin, perhaps. And just to state a future thing, I think on Friday, the Deputy, the CEO and myself are going to the Wheatbelt Futures Forum down in Northam, which is along the same line of thought. So yes, quite a busy month on my behalf at least. Right, moving on. We go to the financial activity statements, attachment 11.1A, the March monthly financial report. And once again, I'll draw attention to the cash flow diagram on page 5, and just seek reassurance from our CEO that we're gonna make it through to the end of the financial year. We've got monies coming in, I hope.
Absolutely. So through the chair, the equitals for 3 regional road group projects, as well as one of the Wheatbelt secondary freight network projects, has been just submitted before the Easter break. So we anticipate 3 to 4 weeks for some release of payments, especially the RRG ones. So hopefully mid to late May, we should be able to get some significant amount in as a
Okay.
part of revenue, capital income. Thank you.
So before I read the recommendation, has anyone got any other questions they want to ask on the monthly financial report?
Apart from that, everything else is pretty well on track.
Yep. Okay, moving to the officer's recommendation. (11.1) that council, by simple majority pursuant to Regulation 34 of the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996, receives the draft statutory financial activity statement report for the period of March 2025 as presented in attachment 11.1A. Who would like to move that one, please? Councillor Sewell, a seconder. I put it to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
That's 5-0 carried. Next on the list is the list of accounts paid and the credit card and fuel card statements detailed in attachment 11.2A and 11.2B. I'll open up attachment 11.2A and just make an observation that historically we always kept track of the last EFT number on the sheet precedes by 1 the opening EFT number in this list, and I see there's a bit of a discrepancy there, so it's either been overlooked or something's happened. Would you care to comment?
Would you like to comment, Manager Corporate Services?
Yes, please. You may have noted that there's a few numbers there that are missing, and that was due to what happened the previous month. There was an investigation when the payments were to be made. I think this was brought to the attention of the council some time ago, that there was one of the service suppliers that the council was investigating, and the CEO instructed that we remove that payment at that time so that we can make a full investigation. So if you note in the bank statements, there's no payments that were made after we removed that, so new EFT had to be started. So that's why that number is missing.
Okay.
And just to add on that, the batch contained other suppliers as well. So the batch, when we upload, the batch can have multiple EFTs. And because it was under one particular batch, which had the investigated supplier as well as others, the missing numbers were more than one.
Yep. Okay. Everyone happy with that explanation? Great. Has anyone got any queries on any of these payments that they need further details on?
Just a note on the bank card is that those bank cards are supposed to have 2 signatures. Co-signed. You should be co-signing Manisha's. Manisha should be co-signing.
Yes, and I have in the past been doing that, which...
Yes. So the president signs the main
Your card as well. So he's signed it.
Yes.
And the finance managers, you co-sign finance managers, yeah.
What in this attachment?
in this attachment. Maybe
Just to prove that you
Yeah. Okay.
payments on
When they were scanned,
they may
yeah.
not have.
it. Just so we keep down the Ladbrokes.
Yep. Understood. Thanks for picking that one up. Okay. Any queries on any other items in those list of payments? Okay, given the silence, I'll take that as accepted. Moving on to the recommendation. 11.2, the council by simple majority pursuant to section 681A of the Local Government Act 1995 and regulation 12 and 13 of the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996, receives the report from the CEO on the exercise of delegated authority in relation to creditor payments from the Shire of Dowerin Muni Fund as presented in attachment 11.2A and 11.2B and as detailed below. This month they total $659,633.46. Okay, who would like to move that one, please?
Hudson?
Yes, and a seconder?
Lord.
To the vote, all those in favour?
Yes.
Councillor Alsop?
Yes.
Yes. 5-0, carried. Okay, this one is a slight variation to the repair of the bowling green, which was damaged during a storm event. Yeah. Okay. Make note that Councillor Hudson is removing himself from the chambers as he has an interest. Basically, the club has requested a slightly higher standard bowling green, a gold fleck surface versus what was originally there being an ultra plus surface. This will result in an incremental cost of $9,500 over that covered by the insurance claim, of which we intend to take from the bowling green reserve, which currently holds $144,188. So it's pretty straightforward, given that the reserve is got plenty of funds there to allow for this. I don't think this is going to be an issue. I'll put it to the vote. The recommendation, yes?
We don't have a quorum because it's absolute majority of
Oh.
the council fund.
Rob, I also have this.
He's got a vested interest.
Rob, so
the
do I.
absolute
I'm a
majority
bowler as well.
For 7 councillors is 5, not. So we have to lay it. We'll have to lay it on the table until we have a requisite quorum. Okay, easily handled. Yep. So we had to lay that one on the table through lack of numbers. Okay, the next item is a slight budget amendment to keep the P7 Ford Ranger that the Asset and Works Committee had recommended that we get rid of. It'll result in a loss of revenue of $14,351, which was anticipated from the sale of that older Ranger. It is proposed that we keep that ute for the incoming building maintenance officer, who is yet to be recruited, I believe, but there is a plan in action to recruit that person. It's pretty straightforward. That money will have to come out of the reserve, which also has a fairly substantial balance of $547,662 in it, and will require an adjustment of $14,351. So recommendation 11.4, that council by absolute majority in accordance with section 681B and sections 6112 of the Local Government Act 1995 and regulation 33A of the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996, resolves to 1, approve the amendment to the 24-25 budget to retain the Ford Ranger which was originally scheduled for disposal as part of the plant replacement program. 2, note that the retained vehicle will be reassigned for operational use by the incoming building maintenance officer. And 3, approve the allocation of $14,351 from the plant replacement reserve to offset the loss of anticipated sale revenue, thereby maintaining funding for the purchase of the new Toyota Hilux. Who would like to move that one? Thank you. And a seconder? Yep. All those in favour?
Yes.
5-0. Carried. So the next one is a motion to support ALGA's lobbying for the upcoming election, which is in 3 days' time. So it's not going to give much time for this to happen, but there's several policy objectives, and I'll just go straight to the recommendation. Recommendation 12.1, that by simple majority, Council number 1 supports the national federal electing funding priorities identified by the Australian Local Government Association, and 2, supports and participates in the Put Our Communities First federal election campaign, and 3, writes to the local federal members of Parliament, all known election candidates in local federal electorates, and the President of the Australian Local Government Association, expressing support for ALGA's federal election funding priorities. Who would like to move that one, please?
Hudson.
And a seconder?
Councillor Ward.
Would either of you like to speak to that motion?
No, pretty straightforward, but in our interest, I would think.
Yep. The only issue that I have is it timely enough? But no, all right. All those in favour?
Yes.
5-0, carried. Okay, the next one is to formally appoint our CEO on a permanent basis, as she has well and truly covered her 6-month probationary period with more than satisfactory performance. I have actually, and I will afterwards, issue you a letter, but let's get the formal council motion through first. Recommendation 12.2, that council by absolute majority in accordance with section 539 of the Local Government Act 1995, 1, confirms that Mrs. Manisha Kerr has successfully completed her probationary period, and 2, approves her permanent appointment to the position of CEO in accordance with the terms of her contract. Who would like to move that one? And a seconder?
Councillor Ward.
A definite all those in favour?
Yes.
5-0, carried. Congratulations. Right, this one's good because we've got another development application. What a booming economy we have. Attachment 12.3A. This is to build a shed out on John Thomas's property out on Dowerin Road. Pretty straightforward. It's in the middle of his property. The only issue is setbacks, which is more than 20 metres. We've checked. We've had a town planner review it. There's no fire risk issues. Pretty straightforward. Moving straight on to the recommendation. 12.3, the Council approves the development approval application received on the 7th March 2025, subject to the following conditions. 1, the proposed shed should be located at least 20 metres from the southern boundary of lot 7397. 2, drainage to be designed and constructed to the satisfaction of the local government, with 4 advice notices there that I'll just state en bloc relating to the if it's not substantially commenced within 24 months, it lapses. There's still obligations for the fire break notice, and if you have any aggravations, you have a right to appeal to the SAT, State Administrative Tribunal, within 28 days. Who would like to move that one, please? And someone to second it? All those in favour?
Yes.
5-0, carried. Pretty sure we don't have any further officers' reports. No. I don't have any other urgent business. Does anyone else have any members' motions?
The Denali Medical Centre.
Oh, yes, we have a late item. Thank you for reminding me. Right, the recommendation I'll read out first and then we can discuss it. Recommendation 14.1, that council by absolute majority pursuant to section 622 and section 622 of the local government. That's a typo there. There's 2 identical sections of the Local Government Act 1995 and Regulation 22 of the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996. 1, approve an annual contribution of $15,000 to the Shire of Dowerin towards the operation of its medical surgery for a period of 3 years, concluding at the end of the 27-28 financial year. 2, authorise the CEO under delegated authority to make appropriate budget provisions in the 25-26 financial year and the 2 subsequent financial years to accommodate this contribution. And 3, direct the CEO to seek and report regular updates from the Shire of Dowerin to ensure that the residents of Dowerin continue to receive equitable access and priority in medical services provided. Do we have a mover for that motion, please? Unfortunately, the motion fails through lack of a mover. I think the feeling is that we prefer to defer discussion on this to gain more information to our next council meeting. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. And as we have no elected member motions, we have no matters behind closed doors, I declare the meeting closed at 4:33. Thanks everyone for attending.